A junior employee expected me to proofread all his reports, arguing, "You're better at writing, so you should help me look good." When I refused, he complained to management that I wasn't a team player and said, "You're supposed to support my growth." I calmly replied, "Growth comes from effort, not from expecting others to do your work." I've been working at this logistics company in Louisville for over a decade. I've seen people come and go. I've trained interns who turned into managers. I've watched loudmouths burn out and quiet ones rise. Nothing surprises me anymore. Or at least I thought so. Then came Andrew. Andrew was hired as a junior analyst on my team. He was in his early 20s, fresh out of college. Came in with way too much energy, like he was still trying to impress a frat house. He talked too much, bragged too often, and acted like he had everything figured out. He also didn't know much. He didn't understand how to pull accurate data. He didn't know how to interpret most of the charts we use. And his writing? Sloppy. Half of his emails read like rushed text messages. Still, I gave him the benefit of the doubt. Everyone starts somewhere. I figured he'd learn with time. But Andrew wasn't interested in learning. He was interested in looking smart without putting in the work. It started with small requests. "Hey, mind looking over this paragraph? Just want to make sure it sounds good. Can you take a quick peek at the summary before I send it out?" I helped a couple of times. It took me 5 minutes. No big deal. Then the requests got bigger. One Tuesday, he slacked me midday. "Can you review my whole report? It's like 8 pages, but you're good at writing and I'm slammed." I had my own deadlines. I told him I didn't have time. He replied, "Come on, it'll just take you 20 minutes. You're better at this anyway." That annoyed me. He wasn't asking for feedback, he was asking me to clean up his mess. I said no. He sent a thumbs up emoji. Fine, I figured. He'll learn. But he didn't. Next week, he dropped a stack of pages on my desk, actual printed pages, and said, "I need this polished. I've got a dinner thing tonight." I looked up and asked, "Are you seriously asking me to do your report?" He smiled like it was normal. "You're better at writing, so you should help me look good. It's part of being on a team, right?" I said, "That's not teamwork. That's me doing your job." He got defensive. Said I was being negative. Said I should want to support his growth. That's when I got cold. "Growth comes from effort," I said. "Not from expecting others to do your work." He didn't say much after that. Just walked off. But the next morning, HR scheduled a meeting with me. Apparently, Andrew had filed a complaint. Said I wasn't a team player. Said I was refusing to mentor. Even claimed I was creating a hostile learning environment. HR was careful not to accuse me of anything directly. They said they just wanted to understand the dynamic and suggested I be more open to collaboration. I told them exactly what happened. I explained how Andrew was offloading his work. They nodded a lot and said they'd take it into account. But nothing came of it. No one told Andrew to stop. He still tried to throw work my way. I just ignored him. That's when I decided I wouldn't just let this go. I was going to take him down. Slowly, carefully, with proof. After that HR meeting, I started watching Andrew closer. He thought I was just being quiet. He had no idea I was already working on my plan. The thing about our company is, we use a shared project management system. Every document has a version history. Every comment, every edit, every access time is logged. And since Andrew wasn't the brightest, he always uploaded his reports half-done. Then he'd start bugging others to review them, hoping we'd basically rewrite them for him. So I started collecting. I made copies of his raw uploads, saved screenshots of our chat threads, logged every time he tried to dump his work on me or anyone else. I also talked to a few others on the team, quietly. Turns out I wasn't the only one he leaned on. Our intern, Jessie, said he made her proofread his entire monthly report, then didn't even credit her. Another analyst, Greg, told me Andrew once tried to get him to do a whole presentation deck as a favor. Everyone was annoyed, but nobody wanted to report him. People were afraid of getting dragged into HR messes. So I kept gathering everything on my own. About a month in, I noticed something interesting. Andrew was getting good reviews. Management was calling him promising and fast-growing. Why? Because our team lead, Mark, was getting all his updates directly from Andrew. Mark was a nice guy, but he was stretched thin. He didn't dig too deep. If Andrew said he did something and it looked decent, that was enough. I realized Andrew had been feeding Mark cherry-picked results, mostly things others had helped him fix. But Mark didn't know that. That's when I decided to go deeper. I started pulling reports and comparing them to the version history. I found one where Andrew submitted a document where over 70% of the content had been written by Jesse, me, and another senior guy, Kyle. All he'd done was paste it together and add a title. I compiled everything into a neat folder: screenshots, timestamps, report logs, chat messages. I labeled every file by date and topic. I even printed it all out. But I didn't take it to HR yet. I waited. Then one morning, Mark called a team meeting. Said the company was restructuring. Said he was recommending Andrew for a stretch role leading a new project team. Everyone froze. I kept a straight face. Andrew looked smug as hell. He actually winked at me. Later that day, I asked Mark for a quick one-on-one. I laid it all out. I was calm, direct. I said I didn't want to create drama, but I couldn't stay silent anymore. I showed him everything. At first, he just blinked at the pile of papers. Then he started flipping through it. His face changed real fast. He didn't say much. Just told me he'd look into it. The next day, Andrew was pulled into HR. That smug grin never came back after that. After Andrew got called into HR, things got real quiet for a few days. He stopped swaggering around the office. No more dropping papers on desks. No more loud speeches about efficiency or team wins. He kept his head down, barely made eye contact. I figured that might be the end of it. Maybe they'd give him a warning, maybe make him retake some training modules. Companies don't like admitting they made a bad hire. But then Jessie pulled me aside one afternoon, her face pale. "Did you hear what he's saying?" she asked. "What now?" "He's telling people you made all this up. That you faked the files. That you're trying to sabotage him because you're jealous of his potential." I actually laughed. It was so ridiculous. But then she added, "Mark's been quiet too. He's not talking to anyone." That got my attention. So I went straight to Mark's office and knocked. He looked up, tired. "Hey, come in. Is this about Andrew?" He sighed. "HR's reviewing everything. But it's a mess. He's saying you manipulated the document history. That you convinced others to lie." I felt the heat rise in my chest. "You know I didn't." "I do," Mark said slowly. "But it's not just me anymore. Legal's involved now." Apparently, Andrew had gotten desperate. Instead of accepting the fallout, he claimed retaliation. Said he came to me for mentorship and I lashed out when I felt threatened by him moving up. He used phrases like toxic senior culture and gatekeeping. The worst part? He had one supporter, Melissa. She was in marketing but had worked with him on a cross-department project. She liked his energy. She was newer too, trying to climb fast. She backed his version of events, said she'd witnessed me being cold and dismissive. I felt the air leave my lungs. I'd spent months building my case, and now I was the one being dragged into the mud. That night, I didn't sleep. I kept running every detail in my head. What if HR couldn't prove anything? What if the company just wanted it all to go away? Then I remembered something. A video call. Weeks back, during a late-night work session, Andrew had shared his screen with me while trying to walk through a report. He'd forgotten to turn off screen recording. He sent me the file by accident afterward. At the time, I didn't think much of it. But now, I dug through my inbox. Found it. Watched it. Right there on video was Andrew scrolling through a shared document, me watching. while he cut and pasted text from an email I had written into his own report. Then he joked, "You should just write all my stuff, man. It's easier." I saved that video in 3 places. The next morning, I walked into HR with a flash drive. Their faces when they saw the video? Let's just say the mood changed fast. When I handed over that video, the entire tone of the investigation flipped. HR stopped looking at me like a maybe problem. They started asking real questions about Andrew. And they didn't just stop with the video. Once they had it, they started digging into everything I gave them. Timestamps, logs, even Andrew's Slack history. Turned out I wasn't the only one he'd been using. He'd pulled the same tricks in a few other departments too. Asked a temp to run numbers and presented them as his own. Got a junior designer to fix a pitch deck and never gave credit. He'd been playing everyone. It took a couple of weeks for HR to wrap things up. But then, quietly, Andrew was let go. No big announcement. No goodbye emails. Just gone. Later, someone told me he'd tried to claim he was wrongfully terminated, but the legal team shut it down quick. That video alone buried him. Melissa? She backed off real fast once the truth came out. Claimed she had no idea and had just been trying to be supportive. Management didn't push it, but her credibility took a hit. Last I heard, she stopped getting invited to big projects. Mark eventually pulled me into his office again. Said, "I should have trusted your judgment from the start." He looked tired. Said the whole situation taught him to pay closer attention to what's really happening, not just what sounds good in meetings. I nodded but didn't say much. I was done trying to prove myself. Still, I'd be lying if I said it didn't change me. I didn't come out clean, either. HR told me I was too passive for too long, that I should have reported things sooner. And they were right. I'd let things slide in the beginning, trying to be nice. I should have shut it down hard, early. That won't happen again. And Andrew? I checked a few months later out of curiosity. His LinkedIn still said looking for new opportunities, with a long, wordy post about personal growth and resilience. Yeah, he finally got a taste of growth. But not the kind he was looking for. Mine came the hard way too, but it stuck. I stopped covering for lazy people. Stopped pretending silence was kindness. And when someone tries to step on me to climb faster, I make damn sure they fall harder.